So many of you have asked about how to plan in-country travel in the comment section of my other videos, so I knew that I had to make this video because I looked for this video when I was going on a semester at sea and it did not exist. I looked and I was like, how do I plan for myself? What is this in-country travel that everyone's talking about? And I literally could not find information on it anywhere. So I hope that this is very helpful for you. I'm gonna go over tips about how to plan a few things beforehand so when you first get to a country you're not totally lost. And then I'm gonna talk about planning while you're on the ship because that's how most of the plans are made. It's when you're on the ship, meet your friends, and you guys decide what to do together. But their Wi-Fi on the ship just really doesn't work, and there's 4 computers total in the library, so it's a bit complicated. So like and subscribe if you find this video helpful, and leave any other questions you have for me down below, and let's get into the planning tips. Okay, so first of all, the reason why so many people tell you to plan your own in-country travel is because doing travel through the ship can be really expensive and really overpriced, like $3,000 for 5 days. And if you can afford that, all the power to you, go for it, but I could not. So I plan my own travel, and it is honestly just as fun. You get to adventure with the friends that you make along the way and change your friend group every time. So that's why so many people recommend that you plan your own travel. So the first thing that you should do before you go on your voyage is, once you know what countries you're going to and what cities the ship will be docking in every country, then you should look up these cities and find out as much as you can about them, about the best monuments, the best street foods, the best places for bars, the best beaches, best restaurants, literally as much as you can, and take pictures of those things from the internet and put them in a Google Doc with descriptions, how much things cost, just so you have an idea of what there is to do in the city that you're going to get to first. So for example, you might want to find the city center because that's where the most stores and restaurants are, and say how far away it is from the port and include photos of it so you know what you want to see when you get there. And then once you have this Google Doc, you should download it onto your phone so you can see it without Wi-Fi and so you can see it on the ship. So this will at least help you know what to do on the first day that you get to a country before you plan anything else, so you're not totally lost when you get there. You can find this information on Pinterest, on people's travel blogs about the countries or cities that they were in, or on Instagram. If you just look up the name of the city, a lot of times people post photos of their food from restaurants, and if it looks amazing, you should write that restaurant name down, find what kinds of food they serve, find out where it is, and put that all in your documents so you know that it's an option for you to do. In your research before the voyage, it might also be really helpful to include places you want to see in the country that are a bit further away from where the ship is going to end up. So I knew people who flew to Rio when we were in Brazil because that's the city that they wanted to see, or took a 10-hour train to Warsaw when we were in Poland. So if you know that there's a city you want to see in a different country, then you should plan that out a little bit beforehand, maybe find out how much plane tickets are going to cost, or find out if buses run there, just so you're not totally lost, again, on the first day that you get to a country. Once you're on the ship and planning with friends and trying to figure out where you want to go within a country, the main way that I decided where I wanted to go when I was talking to my friends is to think of an activity that you'd like to do in a certain country and then find out where you can do that. So I had a friend who in Ecuador, she had heard about the swing at the edge of the world, and that is where she wanted to go. So we looked up where is the swing at the edge of the world? And it's in Banos, which is a little adventurous mountain town with paragliding and a ton of waterfalls and restaurants. So we decided that that is where we were gonna spend our time. We found a bus to take us there, and we spent all of our time in Ecuador at that city, and it was honestly so fun. So the best way to think about where you want to go is to think about activities that you want to do in a certain place. The same thing happened for us with bungee jumping. We knew we wanted to go bungee jumping in Costa Rica, but we didn't know where to do that, so then we decided where to travel based on where bungee jumping was. I think this is honestly the easiest way to decide what city to go to. So if you look up the 10 best things to do in Ecuador, or the best sites of Ecuador, then choose a city that has multiples of these sites or best things to do, and go there and do those things. That's honestly the easiest way. And I've also gotten a lot of questions about how you find friends to travel with on the ship and how you make friends on the ship, and I'm gonna make a whole video on that, so look out for that, be sure to watch it. But honestly, just get to know the people in your classes and then talk about your travel plans with them and ask to join. That is honestly how it happens. you hear someone talking about something fun and you're like, can I come with you? And they're like, of course, join us. And it's not scary at all. You'll be totally fine. So try to travel with as many different people and as many different groups of people as possible, and you're gonna have an amazing time on your semester at sea. Another way we decided where to travel within a country was based off of hostel recommendations from the internet or from friends and relatives. So in Brazil, we knew that there was an island like 2 hours offshore that had tree house hostels, and that was where we wanted to stay. So we were like, we're gonna find other things to do on that island and we're gonna stay in those hostels. So that was pretty simple. We just based it around where we wanted to stay and found activities after that. Also, another thing that we did, like every time we got back to the ship from a different country, we'd look up for the next country that we were going to, like TripAdvisor, and see what programs they offered. So a lot of people in Morocco were doing the program through the ship that was like the camel trek through the Sahara Desert, and it was an overnight and it was like $2,000 something, and we were like, we weren't gonna sign up for that. So we looked up like camel treks on TripAdvisor and we found some that were like $40 for like 8 hours and like hikes to the Atlas Mountains and 3 meals included. Like that was all for like $40. So we were like, of course we're gonna do that. Like, let's go ride some camels. And it was in Marrakesh and we were in Casablanca. So we took the train to Marrakesh, we booked an Airbnb, we walked around the markets there, we bought a lot of like cute little souvenirs and rugs, and then we went on our camel trek for one of those days. So that time we planned our trip around a TripAdvisor recommendation. So that is also another really easy way to plan your trip. So the top 3 websites that you're going to want to use to plan your travel are TripAdvisor, Hostelworld, and Airbnb. So Airbnbs and hostels are super great places to stay because I never spent more than $10 a night to stay in any of these places in any of the countries I went to, instead of like $200 at a hotel. So if you look up on Hostelworld, you can put in like the city that you're gonna be in, the days you're gonna be there, how many people, and a ton of options pop up for you. And the same thing with Airbnb. But hostels are awesome because usually they're really cheap. You're gonna meet a lot of other people who are traveling from around the world who are like young and your age, and oftentimes like breakfast is included. Also, they're just charming and cute, and you're not gonna spend a ton of money on like sleeping. So that is a great option for you. But I think that Hostelworld doesn't work on the computers on the ship when you're actually at sea. Like I think it's blocked, but I'm not really sure. That might be wrong, like don't trust me, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work. So you're gonna either want to book the hostel in the country you're in beforehand, before you get to the next one, so like book it ahead of time, or you can honestly just like wait until you get to the country on the first day, because they're never really full, especially if you're not going in the summer, which none of these voyages are in the summer, because that's like the busiest travel time for a ton of people, so they're probably not gonna be full. So you can just book it on the first day you get there once you have service or like Wi-Fi again. And also, I really recommend getting a travel plan for your phone if you can afford it, because it's so helpful to be able to have service and like use maps and like Google when you're on land, because you're not gonna be able to do those at sea, and if you can't do it on land either, you're gonna maybe feel sort of lost without your phone, and it's gonna be really helpful planning travel if you have some service. So if you're gonna be using one of these websites or looking up travel plans while you're on the ship, you should grab your friends and be like, meet me in the library at like 11 p.m. or meet me in the library before breakfast at 7 a.m. Like mornings are your best bet because it's always empty, and any other time of day it is so busy because there's only 4 computers and there's like a line. So you can either wait in line later in the day or just go early and beat the rush and spend as much time as you want on the computers. And they work pretty well, like the computers are reliable with the Wi-Fi at least, so you'll get done what you need to get done. Also, you do have about 20 minutes per day of like good, like usable Wi-Fi on your phone, but it's honestly like it's not worth planning travel that way. It's just not. It's not super reliable. It can cut out, and you're gonna use it up super fast. Like I'd rather use that up for checking like Instagram or something. Like I know that sounds lame, but I'd rather use it for that than trying to search and be like, where should we stay? And then it's gonna cut out. You're not gonna figure it out anyway. So just use the computers in the library. That is what you should do. Or I actually knew a lot of people who on their first day in the country would go to a coffee shop or a cafe with internet, like a Starbucks or something more local, of course. And then they'd sit there, they'd plan out their travel for the next like 4 or 5 days that they were gonna be there, and then they'd leave the next morning to the city that they wanted to go to. So that is also a great option, just to wait until you have Wi-Fi and plan it while you're in country. I can make a whole video on the Wi-Fi situation on the ship, and just like how much you have, how much it works, and the Wi-Fi scandal of my voyage, oh my gosh. So let me know if you'd like that in the comments down below. So that's about it for this video. I know that was a lot of information and I didn't go super in depth in some of it, so leave any other questions you have down below in the comments and I'll either answer them there or I'll make like a travel planning in-country Q&A video. I think that'd be super fun. So leave comments below, I'll make a video about that so we can all save money on our travels and plan them really well. So thank you guys for watching, like and subscribe if any of this helped you out, and I'll see you guys next time.